these were my favorite things that I got up to this time on my trip to Cape Town. Yeah, so let's get into it. The first place that I thoroughly enjoyed going to was Table Mountain. It's probably like something that's very, very touristy, but we were quite lucky considering that we were traveling during a pandemic and there wasn't that many people. So we have arrived at Table Mountain. How do you feel?
Scared.
We just parked the car and it's amazing here. So, not just first time, also not as a fear of heights, so that's gonna be interesting.
This is gonna be fun, the cable way. You wanna hold my hand?
Okay. I'll hold it. From here?
Yeah.
You okay?
I'm scared.
You'll be fine.
Okay.
Okay. You know, Cape Town is one of the prettiest cities in the world, and we ended up taking the cableway all the way to the top, having a bit of a picnic there, walking along the upper park area, and it's a great way to see the entire mother city. So that was awesome. And then we were lucky enough to also see the tablecloth, which is like when the clouds kind of cascade over the side of the mountain, and it's really, really beautiful. So we were lucky we had good weather, and that was one of the favorites from this trip. The second place that we got to check out during our trip to Cape Town this year was Robben Island. You don't have to be a history buff to enjoy it. So we ended up going, taking the boat across, and you know, while the island is really famous for, or infamous shall I say, for, you know, housing one of the most iconic South Africans of all time, Nelson Mandela, it's actually got a really interesting history beyond this. You know, it housed other political prisoners, like, you know, a very big part of the tour was getting to see Robert Sobukwe's residence on the island. There's a couple of churches on the island as well. And fun fact, the only private property on the island is a church. So that's kind of cool. And then, you know, the island was used as a leper colony before political prisoners. So that's also something that we got to check out. And I think probably the highlight for me of the tour was just getting to do the second half of the tour with an ex-political prisoner off the island. And he sort of walked us through what the daily life at the island was like, which was kind of cool to see as well. The third place we checked out was Cape Point. So it's not really Cape Town, it's about 70 kilometers outside of where we were staying, which was Sea Point. And it took us an hour and a half to get there. But you know, it's totally worth it. It's a nature reserve and you can go inside. There's like beautiful sort of drive in the national park, and then we went to the lighthouse first. We did the hike all the way to the top, which is quite a steep hike. We kind of underestimated it a bit.
I give up on life. I'm just gonna go down. You know, we just here, but I think the best way forward is down.
Honestly, we got to sort of look over the ocean at the lighthouse, and then we took a short drive to the Cape of Good Hope, which is the southwesternmost tip of Africa, and we sort of just hung out there for a bit. And it's really, really pretty. It's definitely a lot of fun to go there and just enjoy it and just really. And now we sort of into the best part about the trip, which is all the food that I got to eat. I ate myself silly. Like, number 4, we got to eat at the best pizzeria in Africa, according to something. So I did some Googling to find out some of the good pizza places in Cape Town, because I thoroughly enjoyed pizza, so I thought, you know, it was a good opportunity to kind of try something in Cape Town. So a lot of my research, they mentioned this pizzeria called Massimos in Hout Bay. So one of the days we ended up taking a drive to there and we got some pizzas, and I must say it was a really, really good pizza. Margarita, fungi feast.
Fungi feast.
Fungi feast.
Yeah.
Isn't it fungi?
No. Mushrooms and stuff are fungi.
Yeah, but it's Italian. Number 5 has to be getting a Gatsby from the OG Gatsby place, which was Super Fisheries. So on Wednesday of our trip, we got basically what Cape Town is known for, which is like, it's a rainy, cold weather that just turns like this. We got that on Wednesday, so it ended up being a really cold, rainy day. We were supposed to go to Hout Bay, but we obviously couldn't go. So we decided to make the most of it, and we ended up going to get a Gatsby from this hole-in-the-wall type eatery called Super Fisheries, and it was probably the highlight from a food perspective of my trip. The lady behind the counter knew we weren't locals, so she kind of hooked us up with a seafood Gatsby with seafood sauce, and then this like meat Gatsby with, you know, a char, which was number 6 was eating as much ice cream as I possibly could fit into my body in the time that I was in Cape Town. Each of it, but for me at least, there were four really awesome places to get ice cream in Cape Town. Unframed, which has been voted the best ice cream shop in the world. Definitely Moro gelato. The tiramisu ice cream there was Dairy Den for the amazing nostalgia of, you know, soft serve ice cream. And then finally, this was my favorite, I had the peanut butter ice cream at Creamery, which was amazing. So Cape Town ice cream culture is here. The 7th thing that we did was we did the whole fine dining scene in Cape Town. And you know, when I was looking up the best restaurants to eat in Cape Town from a fine dining perspective, there were 2 main contenders, Test and La Colombe. So at Test Kitchen, it was a very pared back menu. It was a 5-course menu. Good. For me personally, I think La Colombe just smashed it out of the park. They brought it on. So we got there and they gave us this like sphere with chocolate on the outside and then lychee juice in the middle. It's, you know, on the list of the best restaurants in South Africa. It's because it's just that good. You know, the menu was heavily influenced by Eastern flavors, and so, you know, it was kind of familiar, but also really interesting to see what fine dining restaurants are doing with these types of flavors. So we went with a 10-course chef's tasting menu. My 8th enjoyment of my trip was getting to hang out with some Capetonians. So, you know, obviously this depends on who you know, but Naushad's got some awesome family in Cape Town, and they sort of took us to one of their favorite restaurants, which was an Indian restaurant called Biharis, and they ordered 2 dishes that just stood out for me, which was the chicken lababka, never had it before, delicious, and then also a paneer tikka, which was like a massive paneer, and it was delicious. But they also took me to the highlight of my ice cream tour in Cape Town, which was getting me to Creamery so I could have that peanut butter ice cream, which was fantastic. And that is my trip for Cape Town 2020. This is sort of what I got up to. This is the fun we had, and you know, Cape Town is awesome.